Hello, this is me Fern, and this is a tutorial on how to start an Unreal Engine 4 specifically dedicated server. And so beforehand, you need to know that you need to know about the internet, about networking. So you need to know about IPs, domains, and ports. We will enter a little bit on it. I will make a brief overview on what are the IPs, the kinds and all that. That is that, for instance, if you want people to join to you, you need a public IP, and then forward a port number that your application is relying on, it's listening. That's well, it's so hard to understand if you try to understand it like this, but it might make sense later. Okay, domains. Say that we have a public IP and we want someone to join our public IP. The way it's, for instance, it's dynamic. It can be dynamic, or it can be static. So if it is dynamic, go on make a domain, and that domain will point to your IP every time that it changes, and the domain will remain the same, like www.firefox.com, if it exists or whatever. The domain is going to always be the same and point to your IP. That's it. And then last, but whatever you guys say, whatever. Sorry. Well. Now last, the ports. The ports are like variations of your IP somehow. Like you have your IP, blah 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 blah, the 4 numbers, and you can it can be double dot and your port number, and then you can have 10 different applications running under the same public IP or domain, and that way yeah, you can have 10 different applications pointing with the same IP, and the people will be able to access 10 different applications in your public IP. That way it's not just one single IP. And then that it's also organization, and well, that's just to make an idea. Some things I may say may be wrong, but it's to make an idea, right? It's a base. It's basic. Well, now let's see our thing. After all this preparation, you wanna use the console command, or the commands, or whatever you want to call it. Well, the way to launch your game as a dedicated server. Okay, as we see here, we see wine. If you're in Linux, you want to use wine for your game. It's going to run anyways. If one from Windows try to, sadly, everyone, or not sadly, whatever, uses Windows instead of Linux. And while Linux makes your life easier, because you're less blind, Windows makes things a little bit occluded. There's a lot of occlusion. You really don't see what's going on under the hood, right? So yeah, well, but say that one, yeah, then you want to type your game.exe or .sh if you're in Linux. Then the path, it's gonna be underscore or whatever it's called, well, this slash to the right, game, G, capital A, M, E, then whatever it's the path of your map. First, always game, then the path of your map. Then listen. Listen means listen server. For some reason, you still need it if you create a dedicated server. This is what I've seen. And then server, which stands for server side, right? Then game, that's I don't remember what exactly, but for some reason you use that. Nullrhi. What that does is it renders no graphics, and the port 7778. You can assign any port you want for your game. You can assign port. I think you can even assign port 80 if it's not occupied by anything. It will be. There's like 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 ports. You can go for it. You can add any port you want, and yeah, you will have fun with your friends. If you want to host from home, if you wanna, well, okay. Let's talk about how to host a server in your house. You might be wondering, dude, how can you host a game in your house? And I tell you, if the internet connection is not a CGNAT, which stands for which means that uh, um, you don't have a public IP at the end. Somebody else has control of it. You have a public IP obviously, but you don't have control of it. You cannot forward ports. You cannot do anything at all. But you can still, if you have a CGNAT, afford VPN that is going to allow you. It's going to make like a hack or something. Let's call it like a trick. Like it's going to do a trick that it's going to make that you have access to you have access to the ports, and you get a new public IP, and you have control of the ports. If you pay for it with some privileges, and then you can still do something if you cannot do this for some reason or whatever is the reason. You go and Jesus, I don't remember. You go for instance to Google Cloud Services, or it's a little complicated, Ali Cloud. This remote host servers that you can rent a server that you can then include your game to. Then you can go on rent a Linux chip server, get wine, use wine, and you're good to go. And that's it. Cheers. Hope you guys liked the video. Good luck with your server. And have fun.